Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes. And coming up tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show, we're going to be talking about the week ahead, a look ahead to Easter weekend. We've got a major storm in the Plain States, and that's all going to be discussed in great detail tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. And weather has certainly calmed down this I guess we could describe it as the weekly 2 to 4 inch rainfall that's been pretty much standard from back in the winter and continues certainly this month. It was quite a day yesterday with rain and strong winds and even a squall line in some places that moved on through. Now we can look forward to calm weather today. Although, I just want to point out, we do have a new ocean storm that is developing. That storm's going to stay out in the ocean, but it's put us in a position where we're going to have coastal flooding issues at high tides today and continuing through Monday. Monday should be the peak high tide cycle. We've got a full moon tonight, so the highest tides are going to be on Monday. So bear that in mind if you're along the coast. Meanwhile, we have winter storm warnings and blizzard warnings up. Winter storm warnings up from the eastern half of Montana all the way east into Wisconsin. Blizzard warnings in parts of southern South Dakota, western Nebraska, northeast Kansas, and northwest Kansas, and a few counties in northeastern Colorado and eastern Wyoming. This storm is going to be the biggest storm of not only the spring season, because that's where we're in, but it's also going to be the biggest snowstorm they saw throughout the winter because they really didn't see much snow in this area of the country. We have wind issues across parts of the south and into the southern plains. Wind advisories, some high wind warnings. We've got winter storm warnings up and down the Sierra Nevadas and even for some of the mountains down in southernmost California. So here in the Northeast, the old cold weather system from yesterday is now just east of New Brunswick and moving along. But there's a second low that's developing between North Carolina and Bermuda. That is going to lie between the storm and the plains and a strong high that's building in eastern Canada. So we're going to have this north-northeast wind today that's going to become more northeast later today and tonight, and that is going to cause the tide issues. And meanwhile, we have the developing low out in the plains. That coastal low is actually going to do us a bit of a favor because as a result, this low is going to wind up taking a track well to the west. So we really won't see any big impacts from this as the trailing cold front eventually reaches the East Coast. Maybe we'll get some rain by the time we get to Thursday, but for now, we're going to be fine. And you see the storm, the old storm moving out of New Brunswick, the new storm between North Carolina and Bermuda, high pressure lying in between, and the plain storm that is developing now and heading on up to the northeast. And as far as let me see, what is this? Okay, for some reason, this was supposed to be a NOAA map, but apparently it's down. So let's go to WPC's rainfall forecast map for the next 7 days. So here in the east, there could be another event that produces a half to 3/4 of an inch from Maine down along the coastal plain, and then it picks up in eastern North Carolina where you see an inch and a half plus. We're seeing also some inch and a half plus rainfalls across much of the south and into the lower Mississippi Valley. The system for today into tomorrow in the northern plains and moving up into the western lakes, producing anywhere from 3/4 of an inch of liquid to up to 2 inches of liquid. And of course, we've got snow issues here. So a lot of that is going to be in the form of snow where it's cold enough. And we have several inches or more of rain expected north of San Francisco, northward up the Pacific Northwest coast. The snow forecast here, this is the probability for at least four. And you can see it extends through western and central Nebraska, where the probabilities are running at 50 to 100%, northeastward into eastern South and southeastern North Dakota, across much of Minnesota, into much of northwestern Wisconsin and what the western part of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Again, this is the biggest snowfall of the year for them. Also, high probabilities for at least four in the western half of Colorado and the Sierra Nevadas and the Cascades. If we put the probability for at least eight here too, 50% or higher from central Nebraska, northeast up across Minnesota, and then onto the Canada side north of Lake Superior. So this is going to be a, a a busy snow producer here. Storm Prediction Center, just want to cover a little bit of severe weather today to see what's going on here. And we are looking at a slight risk. You can see it there. Slight risk of severe weather in Kansas. Uh, uh, and then moving on, we're seeing that playing out for tomorrow. We're seeing a slight risk of severe weather in the lower Mississippi Valley. And then as we head on into Tuesday, into Wednesday, a marginal risk in parts of the Ohio Valley, as well as right along the Gulf Coast from the Florida Panhandle to southeast Louisiana. So it's this ocean storm that keeps high pressure between us. There comes the low in the plains. It gets deflected well to the west, so we really don't have much to worry about. Enjoy your Sunday. I think Monday and Tuesday should be okay for the most part. Temperatures today will be not out of the 40s. Tomorrow we'll probably see some temperatures jump into the 50s away from the ocean. Same for Tuesday. Wednesday, we have a cold front approaching. There won't be a whole lot with that front. So I'm thinking that we'll probably get away with most of the day being no worse than a mix of clouds and some sunshine, maybe a shower isolated in some inland spots. But Wednesday night into Thursday, as a wave develops on that front, we could get into around a rain that produces about a half to three quarters of an inch of rain, which is a bit more reasonable. And then once that goes out, weather conditions will improve for Friday into Saturday, Easter weekend, kind of low going up in the northern lakes. It might be a warm front, cold front situation here come Easter Sunday, but that's too far out in the long range to get overly concerned about it, at least at this point. So, have a great Sunday. It is Palm Sunday. We have the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast tonight at the usual time, 7:35 p.m. Eastern. So we'll see you then.